because of the pressure in his head was so great. And at that point in time, because I am a nurse and actually my whole family, especially on his side of the family, is in the medical field, and we decided that we were very open with the whole organ donation process, and had asked that IOPO be involved.
Indiana Organ Procurement Organization is an organization that acts as a liaison between a donor and a recipient. It's the organization that works with the transplant surgeons, and it helps to seek out the organs and helps to make perfect matches with those people that are on the transplant waiting list. So we really just facilitate, I would say, the transfer of the organs from the donor to the recipient with the help of the surgeons.
Actually, before the accident, my husband and I had discussed on several different occasions the thoughts of organ donation, and it was something that we were both very much for. He was a firefighter and a paramedic, and myself being a nurse, and I am also a paramedic. We've seen lots of people injured out in the field that we've actually taken care of, and then also in the hospital setting. And we've also known of people that have received organs. I feel like it really helped all of us, because we knew that even though he had died and that we weren't going to be with him, that he had helped a lot of people. And in fact, I believe it was probably about over 100 people's lives that my husband touched.
I think the grieving process, knowing that when I've met other family members through the IPO Collaborative that had the opportunity from a family member's perspective, clearly the ability that their loved one gave life to someone else through a horrible tragedy has always been a vital part of their coping, and they're very proud to say that what their loved one did.
I feel like since my husband's accident, there has been a greater awareness made, actually amongst, especially I've noticed it in the ER. Mary Ross, one of my nurse coworkers, has, I'm not sure if she's the one that actually started it, but I've seen emails and so on and so forth where different staff members of the emergency department at Methodist have shared their stories about how organ donation has touched their lives.
I think that when an employee at the hospital has an experience with organ donation, it's looked upon by other employees as an opportunity to learn about that.
My name is Breon Carter, and I'm a system administrator for the VisiQ application support. My father-in-law had a transplant, and that transplant will extend his life enough to see his new grandchildren that will be coming, which is something that he never thought he would do or ever see. Also, he actually got to walk his daughter down the aisle as I married her, which is something he definitely wouldn't have done if he didn't have the transplant.
I have talked to one person that I work with who didn't have the opportunity to make the decision about organ donation, and later on felt that they were cheated in a way just simply because they wanted that choice, and they wanted that to be their decision. They kind of felt like that decision was taken away from them.
My husband's cousin was very young. She was in her 20s. She'd finished her undergrad and she was working, and she was driving home one night, and she leaned down to, they think, pick up a CD or a DVD or some sort in the car, and she went across the highway and hit a semi head-on. She was recently married. She had been married for 1 year at that time, and it really at that time was the love of her life, of course. She was really excited and starting her whole new life, and having children was on their back of their minds, and they were working on that. And it was over Mother's Day weekend, and they were literally married 1 year prior to that, so they were celebrating their 1 year anniversary through this process. And then she was lifelined to the hospital, where she literally was going through the process of being brain dead. And unfortunately, the system didn't kick in and the right interventions did not occur in order for that to be an option for the family to decide if that was something they wanted. Because by the time the family realized she was a candidate for donation, the organs were no longer viable at that point. So clearly, in my mind, the system let the family down. And I don't ever want to have that ever option to any other family members. It's not fair. It's part of the process that every family has the right to do or have that option for them. And our family was robbed of that.
One story, when I first joined the collaborative, I don't think I was real aware of the need for organs and what part we can really play to increase the organ donation. And we had a gentleman that came in walking into our facility, and you'd heard 17 people a day die across the country waiting on organs. And this gentleman came in, he was waiting on a heart, and he said, I guess I'm not going to get that heart transplant. And I kept thinking, or when I heard about it, no, I mean, don't give up. There's this big collaborative getting organs for everybody, and if you're walking and talking, you're not that close to dying. And he died in our facility within a half an hour. He went into cardiac arrest and died. And it just kind of hit home that people really do die waiting on organs.
My first experience with organ donation when I was a brand new nurse is one that has always stuck with me and will be with me, I'm sure, the rest of my life. It was a young female who happened to be pregnant and was involved in a motor vehicle accident. She sustained non-survivable injury. Her husband came in and talked to me about the loss in his life and what that meant to him, not just of his wife, but also of his unborn child. And at that point in time, I did call the Indiana Organ Procurement Organization in. This option was presented to him, and he was immediately felt like there was some reason that the whole thing happened. Ironically, their last name was Miracle. And this gentleman came to see me probably about 2 weeks later, and I said to him, ironically, your name is Miracle because I got to see the recipient of the heart of your wife. And this patient had been on a waiting list and was in very, very serious condition and walked out of the hospital 3 weeks after the transplant. I think that was very significant in promoting healing with that young man.
My brother-in-law was 47 years old, and he had a massive brain hemorrhage, and he was lifeline to Methodist, and he was brain dead. And so, he had said he wanted to, on his driver's license, that he wanted to be a donor. And so we donated his organs. It was his wish, and I think that the main thing for people to, family members to realize is that it's the person's wish and what they want, and they should honor that wish.
I feel that several families really benefit from the organ donation process in a time like this. With a tragic event, it's good to know that their loved one's legacy is going to live on in somebody else. It's an opportunity for them to kind of spread a little bit of their loved one throughout and not really have to let go of them.
I just really wish that anybody that ever was put in this same situation that myself and my family was put in at that point in time, that they would at least take the time to listen to what the representative has to say from the organ procurement organization about the whole organ donation process, and at least consider the good that this might do.
This is a letter that we received from a lady who received one of Rick's kidneys. It says, to the family of my donor, November 12th, 2002.